Okay, so I assume this guy is supposed to be Satoshi Tajiri. As we know now, he was orphaned at a very young age. That's right, a Flareon savagely murdered his parents right in front of him when he was just a wee lad. So he grew up without any support from his parents and lived with a hatred for Flareon that goes far beyond anything we could ever imagine, and that is why the thing is still waiting after Flare Blitz after all this time. Yeah, the lava plume thing really was the punchline to the sad joke that is Flareon. But enough joking about this piece of shit now. And back to Tajiri, you know you created something really successful when everyone wants to rip you off. And I'm not referring to cheap knockoffs like Digimon or anything like that. I'm referring to the fact that nowadays, every game's gotta have a Pokémon mode of some sort. I mean, there's Tales of Symphonia 2 where you can capture enemies and evolve them, and it's practically essential in this game considering most of the time you will need 2 monsters to round out your party. And apparently there's even a Pokemon mode in Chrono Trigger DS, though apparently this one is very bare bones and not necessarily worth it, though it can give some nice items for use in the main game, but that's only hearsay. I haven't tried it out yet, and there's a good reason why. It's because my brother bought a copy, and well, or he's gonna buy it in the very near future. But anyway, the thing is, there's no need for me to buy it if I can just wait until he's done with it, and then I can borrow it for myself. So there's really no point. I'd rather wait and save my bucks for something a little more worthwhile. Unlike the selection of TMs you just saw, those are all absolute garbage. But yeah, Pokemon is really the hip thing to rip off these days, so if there is anyone who still thinks Pokemon is dead, I have one word for you. Okay, so you just haven't seen it. It was a middle finger to the screen, but since I don't have a webcam, and even if I had one, I still wouldn't use it because I don't feel like exposing myself even further. I like my anonymity pretty well, and yeah, he just gave me a counter TM, and as I told you before, it's only for normal and fighting moves in this game. So yeah, there's really no point in it, especially since, well, to be fair, some of the best physical attacks in this generation are normal. There's Body Slam, there's Hyper Beam, no Return, though Return is a second generation move. So anyway, Tajiri gives you a diploma when you collect all 150 Pokemon. Thank God you don't need Mew for this, else the diploma would be completely unattainable. Especially since, well, it was hard enough just to collect all 150 of them back before the days of Wi-Fi, and this is just 150. Imagine in generations 2 and 3 where you had to collect twice, 3 times as many. There weren't many Pokemon trainers who could have claimed to have caught them all, and even myself on my copy of Diamond, I'm still not quite done yet. I think I only have 484. All I'm missing is the 7 event Pokemon, and there's also Latios and yeah, those are the 9 I'm missing. Though I assume Darkrai is gonna come pretty soon, as soon as the Ranger 2 event comes on. And anyway, I think it's about time that we review Darkrai's status as an event Pokemon anyway, because no one really considers Manaphy as an event Pokemon because it's available from both Ranger games. But to be fair though, the Ranger event for Darkrai is going to be for a limited time only, unlike the Manaphy one. But still, if you own Ranger 2 and an internet connection for your DS by the time the Darkrai event is on, then this is it. This is all you need to get a Darkrai. And if you miss out on that, there's an event for Platinum that I've talked about before with the members card and all, and I assume there's going to be a similar event in America when Platinum comes out here, though part of me doubts that it'll actually be the case, because usually they tend to favor the Japanese when it comes to events. I don't know why, but that might or might not be the case. And as for Mew, its status as an event Pokemon is even more in jeopardy, because if you have Ranch and you stuff it with Pokemon, that's all you need to get a Mew now. No need to go to New York or anything like that. It's really accessible as long as you're willing to shell out whatever Ranch costs. But yeah, Mew really shouldn't be considered an event Pokemon anymore if they're willing to pass it out like that. Okay, now this little girl is going to give me 3 TMs, 1 for each drink in the vending machine. Now, I don't remember what the TMs are, but the hell with that. I'm going to buy them in addition to an extra fresh water for the guards to Saffron. But yeah, here's a soda pop. Ooh, that sound from the vending machine, I think it might explode. Okay, thank God I'm done with it now, so I'm going to hand over some drinks to that little girl. Let's begin with the fresh water, and what is the TM? What is it? Ice Beam! Ice Beam! I didn't remember she gave you Ice Beam, and for $200 bucks! $200 and you got an Ice Beam TM! Now the downside, of course, is that it's a one-off, and it's a pretty large price to pay if you remember my rant on the thing. And here's Rock Slide for only $300! Now back then, that was by far the best rock move, and it still was until 2 years ago. And here's some lemonade. What is this? TM49? Tree Attack! Wait a minute, so for $850 I got Ice Beam, Rock Slide, and Tree Attack. This is officially the best deal ever in any game in the series. Honestly, $850 and I get 3 high-end TMs! Now, to be fair, Ice Beam was pretty badly outclassed by Blizzard back then, thanks to 90 accuracy on Blizzard, but Ice Beam was still fairly recommendable if you didn't have much in the way of attacks, because 8 PP of Blizzard, as powerful as it is, it can still go by pretty fast. And as for Tree Attack, Body Slam was better, but that's still pretty close. There's just a 5 power difference and the whole random status thing, but otherwise it's still really solid for only $350. Okay, now this is my most favorite moment, or at least one of my most favorite moments in Pokemon games. I finally get to fly around! Now, to be fair, this generation is a little more linear than the rest, so there is not as much reason to backtrack, but it's still fairly useful here, which makes it damn near necessary in every other generation. I can't believe that in Diamond and Pearl they'd let you go all the way to Veilstone before giving you the ability to fly. It's at the other end of the world! And as for Ranger 2, I think you're given access to Staraptor a wee bit late, but that's not as bad as in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. And speaking of Ranger 2, guess which line they brought back from the old games? Technology is incredible! Yep, I couldn't help but smile when I saw Professor Hastings drop that one. And there's also a high-ranking officer of Team Dimson who openly calls you a noob. That's right, noob. And that is your random internet pop culture reference for this game after the massive damage thing in Diamond and Pearl, which of course was a reference to that horrendous press conference from Sony at E3 2006. Now I'd like you to take a second and look at that giant void of nothingness in Celadon that I'm in. There's not much time left for me to talk about urbanism in Pokemon, but next time you can be sure I'm going to talk about what they would have done with that giant void in later generations. Slowflake out!